The day I gave birth, the doctor asked a family member to sign the consent form for the surgery. It was supposed to be a routine procedure, but my mother-in-law snatched the pen away, refusing to let my husband sign. The child must take the father's surname, otherwise we won't sign. But when we got married, everything was clearly agreed upon. No bride price was requested from them. Instead, my family provided a dowry of 1 million, plus a Mercedes-Benz. Outwardly, it was presented as me marrying out, but in reality, he was marrying into my family. The children absolutely had to take my surname. The doctor urged us to hurry, and I was trembling with pain, so I had to compromise. Twins, then. One could take his surname, one could take mine. My mother-in-law wailed and carried on, refusing to agree. Finally, as I was on the verge of fainting from the pain, the doctor issued a stern warning that delaying any longer would endanger both the mother and the children. Only then did my husband snatch the pen back and sign. After the children were born, my parents rushed over. But they were told the household registration had already been completed, and both children were registered under my husband's surname. My father's expression changed instantly. It was agreed they would take our surname. Why are you going back on your word? My mother-in-law said with utter self-righteousness. Whose child takes the mother's surname? People would say my son is worthless. She stared at my parents and added another condition. If you want to change the surname back, that's possible. Transfer the marriage home's title to my son's name as the surname change fee. Then we might consider letting one child switch back. My face contorted with anger as I shouted at my husband. Lin Zayan. Does your mother even realize? You married into my family. If you want to back out and don't want this marriage anymore, then let's just end it. 3 years ago, when I started having blind dates arranged, Lin Zayan sent me a message late that night upon hearing about it, confessing his feelings. I was shocked. After all, he was someone I had a crush on during my university days. I explained my family's requirement. The man had to marry into our family, and any future children would have to take my surname. Lin Zayan's eyes sparkled as he agreed. I wasn't convinced and asked him about his family's opinion. He smiled and explained his situation. My dad died young, my mom remarried. I've always been alone. Marrying into your family is a good thing for me. I won't be lonely anymore. I'm marrying in, so of course the children will take your surname. Don't worry. Who would have thought that such an ugly scene would unfold during childbirth? My father gently patted my hand to calm me, his usually kind expression turning serious. Xiao Lin, we had an agreement. The children take our surname. Why are you breaking your promise now? This isn't right. Lin Zayan's face was pale, looking at his mother with a bewildered, helpless expression. My mother-in-law raised her hand to stop my husband from speaking. Don't ask him. This was my idea. My son didn't know. Elder-in-law, do you think my son and I are doing this just to covet your money? No. I'm doing this for my son's dignity. No normal man would choose to marry into his wife's family. You making my son do this has already made him lose face in front of his colleagues. In the few days I've been here during her labor, seeing the grievances my son has suffered because of this, it breaks my heart. Tears welled up in my mother-in-law's eyes. I've never really done anything for my son. Seeing him struggle so much now, wanting to fight for some compensation for him, isn't that only right? Either let my son keep one descendant. Later, if Cheng Chang wants more children, they can take her surname. Or give my son a house as compensation. Hearing this, my husband's eyes reddened, looking at his mother with immense gratitude. But I felt wronged and furious inside. Over these years, I hadn't been stingy with Lin Zayan. When we married, my family asked for no bride price and instead gave him a 1 million yuan dowry. I bought him a Mercedes-Benz E-Class to boost his image. We even told people I was the one getting married, to save him from embarrassment. Wasn't all this compensation enough? When we found out we were having twins, I even proactively suggested, How about one takes your surname, and one takes mine? He had replied, no need. I married into your family, so they should all take your surname by rights. Just because he endured some grievances now, and his mother couldn't stand to see it, did they have the right to go back on their word? Especially during the critical moment of childbirth, she dared to use this to threaten me. It was impossible not to feel disheartened. Suppressing my anger, I looked at my husband. What do you think? Do you also think I should compensate you? After all, this is our marriage. It has nothing to do with your mother. Her opinion doesn't count. He stood there, head bowed. After mumbling for a while, he looked at me with tearful eyes. Let's do what my mom says. It's the first time she's ever cared about me like this. I don't want to disappoint her. Looking at him, my heart grew cold, piece by piece. It wasn't that I was afraid he wanted to take my house away. Just these past 2 days, I had been discussing with my parents about adding my husband's name to the property deed, to give him some security. But now, he had disappointed me. My emotions fluctuated wildly, and I felt warmth seeping down below. I had just come out of the operating room not long ago. I was bleeding again. My mother's face changed. Stop talking for now. Get her to emergency first. After I was finally stabilized, my father paced anxiously by my bedside. The doctor spoke earnestly, whatever family issues you have, don't let the mother be agitated for the next few days. Avoid anger, avoid commotion. Get plenty of rest. Hearing this, my father patted my hand reassuringly. Sweetie, you can't get angry during the month after childbirth. This matter can't go on like this. Xiao Lin married into our family, he's one of us. Giving him a bit more just means shared property anyway. It's just a house. If he wants it, give it to him. If money can solve it, it's not a big deal. My mother also advised me. Money doesn't matter. The priority is taking care of your health. Besides, you just gave birth. You can't be divorcing before your postpartum month is even over, leaving the kids without a father. Mom looked a bit melancholy. The elders at home are waiting for you to bring the children back. Their health isn't good. If this really blows up, I'm afraid. I closed my eyes. My grandparents had recently undergone heart surgery and couldn't handle any shock. Right now, their only hope was for me and my husband to bring the Liu family children back. Just minutes ago, they had messaged me, asking when I'd be discharged. If it really came to divorce, it would definitely reach their ears. Mom, being sentimental, tried to persuade me again. Xiaowen has been so good to you. Are you really willing to divorce him? Thinking about the porridge he made for me late at night, the loving breakfasts he prepared in the morning. Remembering how he accompanied me to every prenatal checkup during pregnancy, staying up all night by the bedside massaging my swollen feet. My heart softened, unable to be completely ruthless. But that house, I couldn't give away. It wasn't an ordinary house. It was where my parents got married. It was where I grew up, the home of our family for over 20 years, our roots. I couldn't just hand it over. My parents understood this too. We can give a house, but it can't be the marriage home. That house holds too much meaning for our family. We can transfer the suburban villa to Zayan. That location is good too, it's larger. Worth even more than this one. But my mother-in-law's face darkened. No. It has to be this marriage home. The suburbs are nice, but not as good as this one. This is in a good school district. Who knows how much it could appreciate? It has to be this one. My father frowned, displeased. You care about your son and want some security for Xiaowen, we understand. But you're making things difficult for us unnecessarily? I already said this house cannot be transferred. He waved his hand decisively. The suburban house plus an extra 880,000. That should be enough, right? No matter how much it appreciates, it won't appreciate that much. Mother-in-law shook her head. No. Just this one. A school district house won't lose value, who knows if the suburban one might drop that much. I only know this house is in a good school district, it'll always be valuable. My mother said helplessly. If you're worried about depreciation, let Shawan sell the suburban house and buy a new one in a school district. Why must you fixate on this particular house? Listening to this, the anger surged within me again. Seeing my expression, my husband quickly leaned in and whispered pleadingly in my ear. Wife, you can't get angry now. Please don't be angry, okay? For my sake, just pretend to agree. Once my mom leaves, I'll return it to you immediately. I can even write you an IOU. My parents overheard him and exchanged helpless glances. All right, we agree to your request. Now can we change the surnames back? The notary public was called in, documents spread on the table. After signing, the transfer agreement took effect. My mother-in-law finally showed a hint of a smile. All right, now change the surnames. I breathed a sigh of relief and signaled my parents to proceed. Watching my son and daughter's names revert to the beautiful, meaningful ones my parents had carefully chosen, my heart, once filled with anger, was again filled with joy. Mother-in-law was happily on her phone, presumably bragging to someone on a voice call about how her son now owned a luxury apartment in the city center. I don't know what the person on the other end said, but her face suddenly sank. She put down her phone and rushed over. She slammed her hand down on the hand with which my husband was about to sign, and looked up at me. I've changed my mind. One house isn't enough. Hearing this, the expressions on my face and my parents' faces changed simultaneously. Suppressing his anger, my father warned with a serious tone. We understood your concern for your son and agreed to your request. If you keep making trouble like this, you'll exhaust all the goodwill between the young couple. Mom's face also turned cold and displeased. Elder-in-law, if you have other demands, you'd better state them all at once. It's not fair to keep changing your mind like this. My mother-in-law sat up straight. Fine, I won't beat around the bush with you. You need to give my son an additional 10 million yuan as bride price. The air froze instantly. Both my parents and I were stunned. How much? My mother's voice changed pitch. My father, already somewhat enraged, slammed his hand on the table. You're going too far. Do you have any idea how much 10 million is? That's an outrageous demand. I know. The mother-in-law said with utter confidence. I just checked. The going rate for a man marrying into a woman's family these days starts at several tens of millions. Look at Stanley Ho's son-in-law. After marrying in, Stanley Ho gave him his business empire as part of the deal. My son is a graduate of a prestigious university, earns $1 million annually. Only child. His looks, education, he's no worse than Stanley Ho's son-in-law. Why should he only get one house? She glanced at me and continued. Just now, a relative told me the biggest real estate developer in our province is also looking for a son-in-law to marry into the family. They sent my son's resume over, and they said if he marries in, they'll give him 10 million. And after having a child, another 10 million. She stated firmly. My son has given your family 2 children. Asking for just 10 million is more than reasonable. My face darkened as I looked at Lin Zayan. Lin Zayan. I didn't realize that while I was giving birth, your mother was busy arranging other marriages for you. Lin Zayan pursed his lips tightly, head bowed. I didn't know. I really didn't know. I took a deep breath and said directly. Lin Zayan, I'm asking you one question right now. Today, are you choosing me or your mother? If you're a man, if you still care about me at all, sign the papers and change the children's names. Hearing this, my mother-in-law's face flushed red with anger. She started wailing and throwing a tantrum. Right in front of me, you're trying to make my son disobey me. Is this how a daughter-in-law behaves? Do you believe I'll make my son divorce you? My expression turned cold. I stared straight at Lin Zayan and said, word by word. Fine. If you don't sign, then let's get a divorce. My husband immediately fell to his knees beside my bed, tears streaming down his face. Wife, I don't want a divorce. Seeing him like this made me both angry and distressed. Did I truly want a divorce? I had just given birth, was weak, and needed my husband's companionship. How could I possibly want a divorce? Moreover, divorce would affect my family. What if the elders found out and it caused them harm? My father looked at Lin Zayan with disappointment. Xiao Lin, what do you propose we do about this? My husband was silent for a few seconds, then said in a low voice. Dad, this is the first time my mom has been good to me. I don't want to disappoint her. I can write you an IOU. After my mom leaves, I'll pay you back everything, with interest. My father looked at him, let out a long sigh, and waved his hand. We understand. We'll gather the money. But this is the last time, Xiao Lin. There won't be a next time. My parents started raising the funds, transferring sums into his account, bit by bit. When they reached 8 million, the bank limit was hit. My father tried to negotiate with my mother-in-law. It's not that we won't give it. The bank has a limit. I'll transfer the rest first thing tomorrow morning. Mother-in-law immediately changed her tune. Bank limit? Why not give cash? It's clearly just an excuse. With that, she swiftly grabbed one of the swaddled babies from the incubator and clutched it tightly in her arms. Who knows if you're just trying to string my son along, waiting until I'm gone so you don't have to pay. If you don't pay up, I'm taking the children back to our hometown tonight. You won't see them again until you do. My mother's face turned ashen. The child can't leave the incubator. Put them back quickly. My mother-in-law stubbornly insisted, then pay up. No money, no return. Seeing security personnel approaching her, she climbed onto the windowsill and yelled. Don't come any closer. Come closer, and I'll jump with the child. My mother panicked, crying out. Don't be impulsive. We'll borrow the money right now. We'll borrow the full 10 million for you, okay? Sobbing, she urged my father to go borrow money immediately. His expression cold, my father took out his phone and started calling relatives, friends, and business partners one by one. After struggling for an hour, they managed to scrape together just over $1 million. He threw a suitcase of cash at my mother-in-law's feet. We're only 100-something thousand short. Now can you put the child back? I guarantee I'll transfer the rest tomorrow. Right after midnight. Mother-in-law sneered. No way. Who knows what you're plotting? Maybe you'll apply to freeze my son's account tomorrow and we won't get a cent. Who would we complain to then? You people are just too cunning. I watched my parents run around frantically, sweat beading on their foreheads. Hearing the cries of the child in the swaddling clothes growing weaker and weaker. My heart ached. I turned to look at my husband. Holding back tears, I asked hoarsely. Lin Zayan, I'm only asking you one question. Do you absolutely have to have this 10 million? If we couldn't scrape together this 10 million today, what would you do? Just watch your mother threaten us with our child's life? He avoided my gaze, was silent for a long time, then whispered. Wife, don't you have shares in the company? Why not transfer them to me? Consider it covering that 100,000. My ears buzzed. What did you say? My mother-in-law's eyes lit up, and she immediately chimed in. Yes. Shares are fine too. Since you have shares, transfer them to my son now. My father's face darkened, and he stood up abruptly. No way. The company cannot be given to outsiders. We can give money. Double the amount, okay? Just wait another 3 hours. 3 hours. The money will be in your account after midnight. Put the child down first. My mother-in-law paid no attention. Transfer it now. I'll count down from 5, if you don't transfer, I'll jump. The room was in chaos. Swallowing all the pain in my heart, tears in my eyes, I looked at Lin Zayan. Are you sure this is what you want? I took a deep breath, tore off the ring on my finger, and slammed it hard on the table. Sobbing, I shouted. Mom! Dad! Have the lawyer draft the agreement. My father opened his mouth as if to persuade me further. But in the end, he said nothing, just let out a long sigh. Have you decided? My mother wiped the corner of her eye. Whatever you decide, Mom and Dad support you. My husband's eyes lit up, his whole body seeming to relax, as if a weight had been lifted. A smile even appeared on my mother-in-law's face. She jumped down from the windowsill and placed the child back in the incubator. Should have done this earlier. My husband came over, trying to take my hand, his voice lowered. Wife, I knew you cared about me. I won't forget your kindness. The shares are just a formality. To put my mom's mind at ease. Once she's gone, we can slowly readjust things. He picked up the ring from the table. Don't be angry anymore. I'll make it up to you later. He tried to slip it back onto my finger. I coldly withdrew my hand and pushed him away. Go sit over there. Wait until the lawyer arrives. He froze for a moment, panic flickering in his eyes as he looked at me. But my mother-in-law nodded approvingly and pulled him away. Do as your wife says. Get this done first, then you two can be lovey-dovey again. Lawyer Wang arrived within 10 minutes. He brought the printed documents and handed them to me. I opened them, skimmed through quickly. And signed. Then handed them to my husband. My husband eagerly took them, and my mother-in-law crowded in to look. They flipped to the first page. Both their faces changed simultaneously. Divorce agreement? My husband's voice trembled. Chang, did you pick up the wrong one? My mother-in-law's face turned green. Where's the share transfer agreement? Why is this a divorce agreement? Lu Chang, what do you mean by this? I looked at them and spoke calmly. Didn't pick up the wrong one. It's the divorce agreement. I want a divorce from Lin Zayan. Silence fell over the room instantly. My husband was stunned, his eyes full of disbelief. Wife, what are you saying? I looked at him, urging him. Sign it quickly. After signing, go back and pack your things. Considering you gave me 2 children. You can take the car I gave you. We won't ask for the money we gave you at the wedding back. Consider it severance pay. But the money from today, you must return. My husband's face turned deathly pale. Chang, please don't be like this. He suddenly knelt down. I was wrong. I don't want anything. Please don't do this to me. Please don't divorce me. My mother-in-law, furious, rushed over, snatched the agreement, and tore it to shreds. You bitch! Using my son and then kicking him out? Shameless! Pretending to be so virtuous. Back then, you begged my son to marry into your family, and now you turn your back on him. My father's expression turned ugly. Watch your mouth. My mother hesitated for a moment. She whispered to me. Maybe just let Shaoan write a letter of guarantee. If he cuts ties with his mother, then we won't get divorced. Mom sighed softly. After all, the children can't be without a father. You're still in your postpartum month. Divorcing now would be too damaging to your health. I looked at them. Mom, Dad. Our family has money, has people. Without him, the children won't lack fatherly love. I looked at my husband. The moment he allowed his mother to bully me. The moment he watched me, just postpartum, weak and bleeding, being pushed to the brink by his mother without a word of protest, just protecting her, he and I were finished. Besides, even if he wrote a guarantee, so what? He wouldn't cut ties. There would only be more torment waiting for me in the future. I stared at Lin Zayan and asked. Can you honestly say you could? My husband's eyes were filled with tears, but his expression slowly changed. She's my mother. You know how much I've wanted to repair my relationship with my mom. Yet you want me to cut ties with her? How can you be so heartless? My parents said no more, silently acquiescing to my decision to divorce. Seeing this, my mother-in-law pointed at me furiously. Divorce is fine. Divide the property equally. Give my son half of your family company. And the children belong to us. If you don't agree, you'll never see the children again. I said coldly. Lawyer, start recording. Say that again in front of the lawyer. Extortion. I'll make sure you rot in jail. I gave birth to the children. Try taking them. Mother-in-law shrieked. They're the Lin family's offspring. They have the surname Lin. What do you have to do with them? You're just the delivery vessel. Lawyer Wang's face darkened as he rebuked. Madam. Do you need me to educate you on the law? In a divorce during the breastfeeding period, custody of the children is 100% awarded to the mother. Unless the mother voluntarily gives it up. There is no dispute. My mother-in-law's face was livid, glaring at me. Playing games and talking law with me? You think I don't know? She suddenly turned to Lin Zayan. Son. Tell them. Tell them if they can fight us. My husband kept his head down, silent. Mother-in-law grew frantic. She suddenly stepped forward, her voice rising. You think we have no way to deal with you? People with mental illness can't raise children. If you don't obediently hand over the company and the children, I'll have the mental hospital take you away. Then, once you're committed, you'll be diagnosed as mentally ill. In court, the children will be awarded to us. I stared at her, my face like ice. Just because you say I'm mentally ill, I become mentally ill? Mother-in-law sneered. It's not just me saying it. She turned to her son. If my son says it, then it counts. My husband finally looked up, his eyes red. Wife, don't forget, I am your spouse. As long as I prove you have postpartum depression and mental issues, you will be mentally ill. My parents' faces changed instantly. My mother's voice trembled. Zayan, what nonsense are you talking? This is your wife. The woman who just gave birth to your children. You would do such a thing to her? My mother-in-law chimed in smugly. Hear that? You think you're the only ones who know the law? I checked long ago. Your husband is your primary guardian. As long as he says you have mental abnormalities and requests hospitalization, the hospital will accept it. Once you're sent in, the children will naturally follow the father. I looked at my husband, my heart utterly frozen. Are you really going to do this? He avoided my gaze, his tone firm. You forced me. You insisted on divorce. If you had just given me the shares earlier, we wouldn't have come to this. It's your refusal to cooperate. What else could I do? My father couldn't hold back anymore. He rushed over, grabbed Lin Zayan by the collar, and yelled. What could you do? How dare you say something like that? How has she treated you all these years? Your job came from her. The money in the car came from her. Even adding your name to the house was her initiative. She was terrified of you suffering any grievance. And now you want to commit her to a mental hospital? Are you even a man? My mother's eyes reddened. Put your hand on your heart and tell me. Did she ever wrong you in any way? Just because she didn't agree to your mother's outrageous demands? My husband's eyes were red, but he remained stubborn. She chose to give those things. I didn't force her. She was the one who turned against me first. Blame me? I wiped the corner of my eye. Fine. Go ahead and try. Let's see if you have what it takes to commit me to a mental hospital. Hearing this, my parents urgently tried to stop me. Chung Cheng, don't be impulsive, don't say things like that yet. My mother turned to my husband, almost pleading. Zayn, this is your wife. She just gave birth. Please don't do this to her, okay? The company isn't solely ours to decide. The shareholders won't agree. If we forcibly change the equity owner, our shares will be forcibly repurchased. Dad let out a long sigh and tried to persuade him. Xiaolin, why must you be so extreme? This company will eventually be for you and the children. Everything we have will eventually be left for you. Why must you force things to such an ugly point? My mother-in-law sneered. Weren't you all high and mighty before? Giving things out like charity. Don't think a few soft words and crocodile tears will soften me or my son. Now you need something from us. Let me tell you, it's not just about the shares anymore. Either you transfer the entire company to my son, or your daughter goes to the mental hospital. And even if she gets out, she'll be ruined. My father's face darkened. Do you have to be this cruel? The company is something we built. On what grounds can you just take it with a few words? My mother-in-law raised her chin, her tone sarcastic. Oh. Didn't you say yourselves that even what's yours, my son gets to enjoy? So what's the difference in giving it to him now? Can't your daughter still enjoy it? She stood with her hands on her hips like a fighting hen, face full of smugness. You said it yourselves. Won't it eventually go to the grandchildren anyway? And my son will leave it to our grandchildren later. What's the difference? Why are you unwilling now? It just shows you know it's different yourselves. You were just sweet-talking us. My parents glared at her, speechless, terrified that one wrong word might provoke her and truly doom me. I turned to my husband and asked him. I don't understand. Why can you treat me like this for your mother's sake? You said your mother never cared for you growing up. You said you only had me. Now that you're doing well, she appears. Do you genuinely believe she's here to help you? Not to destroy the life you have now? My husband gritted his teeth and glared at me. Shut up. She's my mother. She wouldn't harm me. Seeing his stubborn delusion, my heart turned completely cold. I didn't want to say another word to him. I looked at the lawyer. I want to file for divorce. Also, call the police, report them for malicious harm and illegal restriction of my personal safety. My husband suddenly roared. How dare you? I'll commit you to the mental hospital right now. The lawyer hesitated for a moment, then confirmed quietly with me. If the spouse applies for a mandatory psychiatric evaluation, the hospital will indeed initiate the process. Even if they conduct a thorough admission examination, waiting for the results to confirm you don't have a mental illness and release you will take at least a month, Miss Liu. And given your current physical condition. Also, if you have a history of mental hospital admission, the children can only be awarded to the father. My mother grabbed my hand, her face pale. Chung Cheng, don't. What if you really get sent in? I looked at them and said firmly. I don't have a mental illness. I refuse to believe that just because he signs a paper, I become mentally ill. I said to the lawyer. Do it now. Call the police. My husband suddenly yelled at me. Don't push me. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number right in front of everyone. Tell your people to come up. Now, immediately. My heart sank. Before I could react, the door burst open. Several people in mental